Have you ever felt proud of a healthy choice that turned out to not really be healthy at all? Yikes. Man, so many of these, but during my very first 90-day program, when I'm like, hey, I'm going to finally commit, get in shape, get healthy, I was trying, I don't want to say I was trying super hard to eat clean, but I was trying to make better choices. And I remember standing at the grocery store looking at the meat substitute, and there's some patties there and the kind of marketing that's really, it tells you that it's a smart alternative to a regular burger. And, many months, if not years, went by where I genuinely felt proud of myself for grabbing that instead of the real thing. So I bought it regularly for quite a long time, felt good about every time I had it, and never really once actually looked past the packaging to check what was inside. I don't know. Sometimes you can, are you a label reader at all? I really never was. I was kind of more, I gave into the marketing. But today I want to talk to you about a moment that finally, where I took a closer look and kind of surprised. You probably won't be surprised. You're probably like, I know this already, but hey, you'll relate to my story, I'm sure. Before we do this, let me take a little bit of a detour here because I want to talk to you about podcasting. You know that I've been podcasting for years. Maybe you don't, maybe if you just discovered my channel, but or listening to the audio, but been doing this podcast since 2007. I mean, lots of years. So if podcasting has been something that you've been thinking about and maybe you felt out of reach, or maybe you started and stopped and it's like you never really committed, or maybe you didn't feel like you were techie, or if it maybe felt like the whole thing is complicated, or maybe you have the idea that everybody's podcasting. Why would anybody listen to me? I totally get that because I thought the same thing when I started back in 2007. Everybody's podcasting. At least that's what I thought, right? So I want to help you out with this. I am hosting a 5-day, I'm calling it a 5-day podcast sprint. It's from August 17th to the 21st. So coming up very, very soon. So where you start with your stories and you'll end it with your show by the end of the week. So if you want the details on that, what you can do is comment with the word sprint, or I'll tell you what, do this. Text the word sprint to 208-400-5095. Again, that's sprint to 208-400-5095. Or you can go to the website. It's worldclasspodcaster.com/sprint. Once again, worldclasspodcaster.com/sprint. All the details are there, and it'd be great to have you and be able to see you there. So you can get that. Okay, back to the burger here. Burgerville. I convinced myself the patty was obviously a better choice, more healthy than what I had been eating. And that said, it sounded plausible, right? Meatless, plant-based. It all sounded like, oh my gosh, you're really in tune. I never really actually bothered to read the ingredients because the whole premise was so obvious. Of course, I'm eating a veggie patty. That beats regular any day, right? Why would I need to check anything further into that? Eventually, I did. Mostly out of curiosity. I wasn't, skeptical of anything. I was just like, what's in this stuff, right? A long, long list of processed ingredients that I couldn't pronounce. Sodium numbers that rivaled or it surpassed the real burger that I thought I was avoiding. And really very little of what I actually pictured was being healthy to me in this healthy plant-based meal. I'd been eating something that looked responsible on the outside, but it was not delivering for me, at least what I assumed that was delivering on the inside, right? So that gap between what I assumed and what was actually true, that's the part that stuck with me. I didn't feel like I was lazy about my health during that stretch. I thought I was actually trying. I was making a really good effort. I just trusted the label and this general idea instead of trusting myself to actually take a look. What am I putting in my body? So over the years, I've become a much better label reader. I won't say I'm obsessed about it. And I'm sure there are things that I have that is like, if I read the label, I probably would make a different decision, right? But the package, it did the convincing for me there. Because checking, it really, at the time, it felt unnecessary because the answer's already there. Healthy option, plant-based, all the stuff. This often happens with more than just food, though. Anytime something gets marketed as the responsible choice, the healthier version, the better alternative, I feel that it is worth an actual look instead of assumption. Now, you might go through and look and say, yeah, I looked into it. I did the research. Looks good. Sometimes the alternative is better. Sometimes it's just wearing a better gift wrap, just better packaging while it's roughly doing the same thing. It doesn't end up doing the same thing, or it sometimes is worse than what you're replacing it. I think I was telling a story the other day about how I was a 2-pack a day smoker, and I was using this mist to open my lungs so I can continue smoking. That was crazy. But I was thinking that mist was actually a healthy alternative until I was in the doctor's office, and the doctor went, gosh, that's actually worse for you than the smoking was. I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that, but I gave into what are the benefits of this and what the packaging said. So if you have a healthy choice and you've really never double checked, take a few minutes, take a closer look. Feeling proud of a choice, it doesn't automatically mean it deserves the credit that you're giving it. Sometimes it just means the packaging and the labeling is doing its job. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You could drop those down in the comments. I so appreciate it and will respond. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness Community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.